Hello, my name is Shantae McLaughlin, and I'm coming to you live from the University of Central Florida. I am here to give you descriptive detail on my experience here as an ENC 1101 student. For starters, I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my background. I'm a freshman in college that recently graduated from a high school in South Florida. As a senior with aspiring goals to get into college, I decided to take AP English. That course required a lot of in class timed essays. It involved a lot of higher level vocab with some traditional readings. All of this work helped me prepare for college level English. The transition from high school to ENC 1101 was not as bad as I thought it would be. I enjoyed the idea of writing my essays outside of class over a course of 2 weeks. This gave me enough time to formulate ideas, come up with a rough draft, and perfect it with some professional help. This class taught me the bigger picture behind writing. I read several course readings in this class, like Deborah Brandt and James 5G, and so much more. They all helped me find a new liking to English. In high school, I didn't really like writing because I felt as if I was forced to write about a topic that did not interest me. Now that I have taken ENC 1101, writing has become way more purposeful. Just like most freshmen, I came in with the mindset that all of my college classes would be super hard. I knew that I would need to get at least a B to maintain a high GPA. Therefore, I tried to complete all of the homework assignments. In my class, we had a reading grid due almost every day before class. These reading grids ensured that we read the required reading for that night and understood the context. Of course, this was a very tedious task. However, it was very helpful in the end. With that being said, I made goals of receiving at least one A on my final essay. I tried to use some of the resources around that would help my essay be the best it could be. So after constructing my rough draft, I would always pay a visit to the Writing Center. The Writing Center is a very popular resource on campus that offers help on essays, resumes, and anything of that sort. After attending the Writing Center twice, I found that it was a very successful. I managed to receive an A on both of my essays. I was very happy with these results. I also had the goal of reading more articles and college level compositions while in college. The nightly course readings helped me accomplish this goal. The level of the writing was a little higher, but this helped me increase my comprehension skills. This class, major assignments consisted of 3 unit finals and lastly, the final portfolio. There was always a due date for the rough draft, and then after that, there was a unit final. The unit final was the finished product that had been revised and edited. Literacy and Identity Narrative was the name of the first essay. The purpose of this essay was for me to describe my relationship with writing and how it all started. I was very thankful for the set of questions provided by Professor Dieterle. These questions was a guide for things that should be discussed in the essay. The complete word count for this essay was 1,200 words. Therefore, I started off with my 600 word count rough draft so that I could get some help early and make sure I was on the right track. I went to the Writing Center and the tutor helped me formulate a structure for the essay. A structured essay made sure the information was well organized. After that, the meeting with the Writing Center, I completed my finished project. Ensuring that there were no grammatical errors and a correct APA format, I went back to the Writing Center for one last visit. This strategy gave me successful results. I got an A on my very first unit final. With that being said, I made sure I used this strategy for every essay. The second unit final was very similar to the first one. It was titled The Writer's Professor Profile, and the motive was for students to analyze and write about another person's community of interest. I chose to write about a close friend of mine named Crystal. Her community of interest was artistry. I wanted to know more about how she started drawing and its relation to writing. This required me to do a few interviews that would help me gather some information from my essay. In addition to that, this unit required a multimodal aspect. A multimodal aspect can be any model that would relate to your writer's community. So I chose to bring in one of Crystal's favorite things to draw. A physical picture was the best representation because it was an actual drawing made by her. It shows something she loves to draw. Furthermore, the last unit final was an article review. We got the chance to review an article of our own choice. I took the time out to look at some articles provided in the Writing About Writing book. I found an article titled Writing for Their Lives, the Non-School Literacy of California's Urban African American youth. This is my favorite article because it talked about how the struggles of African American teens can affect their literacy practices. The main idea of the article was to point out the fact that these students did not put effort into their school literacy practices. However, they conducted their own literacy practices at home. For example, they liked to rap, write poems, and draw. For part of the essay, it required a summary of the article, and the other half of the essay was the review. For the review part, I put my own opinion of the pros and cons for the article. Professor Dieterle was kind enough to give me feedback on some things that could have been improved. After looking at the feedback, I see that my essay could have used a stronger connection to the course reading. Now I can use this constructive criticism and better my writing. Now we are to the fun part of my video. I'm going to advise you about some things I would have done differently for this course. Do not procrastinate. This is something that I have always struggled with, especially when it comes to writing essays. In this class, we had 2 weeks to write a completed essay. Therefore, if I was to plan out my essay 1 week and then revise it another week, I wouldn't have to rush to make sure it was completed in time. Tip 2. Try to make a connection with the professor. Majority of the classes on this campus is really big, so it would be best for you to use this small English class as an advantage. I take the time out to attend Professor Dieterle's office hours. Building a relationship with your professor is going to be very beneficial for learning purposes and future references. ENC 1101 was a great experience that taught me a lot of new things about writing.